Good morning, Denise here, Junk Journal Junkie UK. So I'm back to share some more of my Edith Holden makes with you. Ready to start Tania at Tatty Treasure's folio make along tomorrow. I'll be starting it tomorrow. I think it'll be airing later on today. So that's over at Tatty Treasures on YouTube. The link will be in the description below, but I expect you'll already have found it by the time this video is up. So what I've made so far on everything I've made so far I've made on camera with you. So 3 notebooks, one with the buttons on, 2 not finished until I've done the folio to see what's where it's going and what it is. So this is an envelope that I made quite a while ago out of some Edith Holden bits and pieces. That was from the Nature Diary, and a topper, or we can use it as a journal card. Okay, so just a few bits, that's all I've got. I wanted to do most of the makes once the folio was on its way or done, so that I could see exactly what I wanted, what shape, size, etc. that I wanted. So I cut the book up with you. I think that's not glary, so I've got 2 books cut up in there. I haven't sorted them particularly, they're just in the 2 separate books. So the actual Edith Holden, take it out of there, some of it, bits that have been cut in. So the actual Edith Holden book, Country Garden of an Edwardian Lady, and the Nature Diary. I keep calling it Nature Notes, but it's Nature Diary. And I'm finding as I'm using it, I'm liking the text even more than the pictures, which is, I know that's unusual, and I do like the pictures, but as I cut it up, I love the text. So this is the box that's got my part makes and the few fussy cuts that I have done. I haven't done a lot for the very same reason. I want to have a look exactly what I need before I start cutting bits apart. So I've got some bases in the top of here. So an envelope for one of the envelope makes that Tania did. A couple more of those torn round pieces for the toppers or tags, and a couple of offcuts that I thought are going to make some nice belly bands. So I'm going to be making things as we go along with the pieces as they speak to me as well. So like belly bands and things may not go in the folio, but I will then have a stash of Edith Holden to start doing a couple of journals, because now I've cut it up I want to use it. Okay, so they're just in there to keep them together. So so this is the envelope that I started. I haven't done on camera, I was just having a play around with it really. Similar to something that, well, very nearly the same but not quite, Tania has been doing. So it's just open there. I've just put a piece of Nature Notes text in there, which is typewritten text, but it's on that beautiful coloured paper, and the rest of it is from the this writing is from the Edith Holden book, the text, and then just bits of scrapbooking paper. And I'm really liking the dark brown sewing around the Edith Holden paper, so that needs a tag making for it, that's why it's part done. And then I just cut up a page. This is when I fell in love with the text. So there's one little tag there, but it needs embellishing, it is backed. So I just cut up a piece of the text, and this is how I fell in love with it. I just let it decide, you know, what it spoke to me as, what shapes it needed to be. So I got out of one page 2 quite chunky but not too tall tags. I absolutely love the writing on them. They are backed with a paper from a Janie B bundle. Looks a bit of a cork effect. And if I move that box, you might be able to see a bit better, might you? And obviously I'm going to embellish them with some of the fussy cuts, but nothing too much. I did try it with one. What did I try it with? I'll show you the fussy cuts in a minute. This one, I think. So I want something is that the right way up? That butterfly looks upside down. That's well cut out, so there's, you know, text peeping through the middle, etc. of it. It's quite a brown piece, that, isn't it? But, you know, just something Edith Holden on it. And I'm not going to go for lots of anything else, lace or other embellishments, just a piece of the lovely text, which is singing for itself really, and just a piece of the fussy cut. So I've got a couple of journal cards. and a couple of tags, and that little tag that you saw in the envelope. I'll leave that out over here, out of the one page. So that was quite good. Okay, so I'll bring this box and just show you. So I've not got a lot of fussy cuts in there. They're all the smallish to middle ones. One or two out of the Edith Holden book, but most of them out of the Nature Diary book. And then I've got a couple of the bigger ones wrapped up in here because I keep getting wrapped around everything. But they really are big pieces. Probably need cutting down. Okay, so that's what's in my box. I'll put my bases back in. We will get to them. I've also brought along a piece of square doily. Old, it is vintage doily, sort of crocheted doily, I think. So it's naturally stained in daylight, I think. I haven't put any ink or anything on it, so I really like that. So I'm going to try and use that on all the tags, so we've got a bit of continuity. I've just got my tray of bits from the cut-offs from the books where I've been cutting things up to make, and one or two scrapbooking papers, not scrapbooking papers, digitals, scrappy digitals that I thought may go. I've also just printed 2 other digital pages at the minute, and I've got 2 pieces of scrapbooking paper. So that's all I've got with me at the moment, but this is not the folio, this is just getting some of the the tags ready. So what I want to do today is make a tag for in here in the similar lines. Well, I think it wants 2 because that has 2 tags in there. The similar lines of these, so nearly all text, and then a lovely big fussy cut on the front, and a smaller one for in there. So let's move that. Shall we stick that on there and call it? Or do I think it's too much? No, I like it. I'm not going to do the too much. Let's stick that on, and then we can. See, I'm tempted to think, well, it's got a piece there that needs a label or something like that on it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it fairly, well, naked, plain. I don't think either of those are the correct word because it's neither of those things, but you can always add to it when you decide where you're using it, and I can't take it away. I don't use it and think, I wish I'd left that a bit plainer. So I'm just going to stick this on it and call it done until we get to the folio. So I did sew and ink the tag. Obviously you can see I've sewn it, but I inked it as well, and I've used the walnut stain because I'm liking the really dark, because I've got really dark pages on my book. I'm loving the darkness around it as well. Yeah, so that could have no, and you know, it probably will have a piece of the lace, this on the top as a tab. We put a piece on just to see what it looks like. We've got plenty of yeah, what are they called? That's not big enough. Let's cut a big piece off. We've got plenty of pages. Goodness, that was hard work, wasn't it? You know, with text on to make as many tabs as we need. So we'll do this one so we can see what it looks like with a tab on, and then if it's not the right size tab or etc, we'll have lots of others. Right, shall we go for a chunky one? Let's go for a chunky one on this one. Yeah. And I think just Fabri-Tac will be fine. My good old fave. Do it on the back first, I think. Should we have that frilly bit on the front? Right. Let's go for it. Plenty on that stitch in there. See, it's quite a thick crochet doily, that, so it might be too chunky if I want it in somewhere slim. Oops, that's it. I'll try and get that pretty bit down there. So you see, I could have put something there, and then I'm going to cover it up with this. So I'm loving that dark brown stitching around this Edith Holden text page, text. Really loving it. Yes, that's a big bold chunky tag, but we haven't overdone anything else on it. Just leave that over there to dry, and that can be a done piece. and we'll start finding a piece for here. Right, so I was thinking